Hi guys, this is Leela. Welcome to my channel Leela Webdev. In this video, we will try to see the basic concepts of the functions in the programming, especially in the C language. So this video is all about the C language, right? So you'll see about in the C language the basic concepts in the functions, and also how the functions communicate with each other using the arguments. We also call it as in parameters also sometimes, and the written values. So let's try to understand each one with examples and explanations of each point. So first of all, you need to understand why we use the functions. So what is the use of these functions? First one is the code reusability. So functions help avoid redundant code. If you need to perform the same task multiple times, like calculating the area of a triangle, you can create a function, do it once and call it whenever it is needed. So this one is the basic functions why we use this one. So for example, let's say that, so the triangle example only I will try to tell you. For example, let's assume that suppose you need to calculate the area of different triangles in different parts of your program. Instead of repeating the formula every time, you can write a function to calculate the area and reuse it. The example code, it will be in such a way that, so I have the code with me. Let us go into our code here. I will copy this code and I will try to show you. So instead of here, I will copy this entire thing here and I will paste it. Okay, sorry, I will paste it here. Yeah, so here you will be having the calculate area. So this one is our calculate area, int calculate area, int base and int height. I am taking it, and we are calculating the area of a triangle, calculating base into height by 2. So in the main program, so the first one, area 1, calculate area of 10, 20, calls the function to calculate the area 2, and we are printing out the areas here. So for example, if you want to know about this code means, so what you can do here, let's try to make it down. Let's see whether we can able to get the output or not. Hash include studio.h. Let's try to run the program so that we can able to see it or not. Implicit declaration of main. Okay, into main it is there. So calculate area. So here in this output, so we need to use the declaration, right? So now here we are having a calculate area int and int, and it is taking the calculate area into base and in height, and this is the main program. So now we are able to see. So breaking the program into a smaller isolated task makes the program easier to design, test and understand. For example, let's say that if you are designing a program with multiple steps, let's say that if you are designing a program with multiple steps like calculating, printing and storing data, each of these tasks can be handled by a separate function. So let's try to show you this separate function code. I will write it here only. So here you can have a void calculate, void print result, void store data, and in the int main you can say calculate, print result, store data and return. So like this you can use it. So now the next one what I want to discuss is the communication between the two functions. So how the communication will happen between the functions. So functions communicate with each other through arguments, values passed to functions, and return values sent back to the calling function. So let's look at how this works in the given example. So I will try to show you in a given example here. So I have an example with me. So let's say that we are having a calculate sum, int x into y int z. So here these are the three arguments which you will take. So here we are having int abc sum, okay, int abc sum, and we are printing the printing the numbers. So enter any three numbers and we are taking the values and we are calling the function and we are printing it. Now if I try to run this program, so here it will ask you some series questions like 2, 3, 4 and I press enter, sum is 9. So this is how we will be calculating the sum. So now here if you try to understand, the actual arguments are the variables or values passed to the function. In this case a, b and c in main. So here these are the actual variables. The formal arguments are the parameters declared in the function definition, that is nothing but x, y and z in the calculate sum. These arguments need to match in type, order and also the number. That's the main thing. Function prototype. The prototype which you are able to see, this is the function prototype. The prototype tells the compiler about the function's return type and the types of its parameter. The function prototype is defined before the function is called. So this one is defined before the function is called. So this one it will indicate the compiler. So what is the return type of the function and what are the arguments and type of functions. It indicates that calculate sum here takes 3 int parameters and returns an int. That is the main thing. So here you will be able to see a return statement, return D. The return statement sends a value back to the calling function. In this case, the sum of the numbers is returned to the main. Without the return statement, the function wouldn't provide any meaningful result. So that is one thing. Control flow. Once calculate sum completes its tasks, it returns control back to main and the sum is stored in the variable sum. So it returns the control back and the sum is stored in the sum. So now if you try to see the output, so this output will be like this. Further explanation of the return and return values are so now multiple return statements. A function can have multiple return statements based on conditions. The value returned depends on the condition evaluated. For example, let's say that here you are having some code. Let's say that this is the code. Into function of int n. If n is less than or equal to 10, so we are returning n into n. Or else we are returning n into n into n. So returns the square if n is less than 10, returns the cube if n is greater than 10. So here the parentheses after the return statements are optional. Both of these are valid. So here you can have something like code like this also. Okay. So like this return A you can have it, or otherwise with parentheses also you can do it. A function can only return one value at a time. You can't return multiple values in a single return statement. However, you can use pointers or structures to return multiple values. So I will try to explain you about the structures concept when we are trying to do. So it can only return one value at a time. So if it can't returns multiple values. So here this return A comma B is invalid. Okay. So if you want to return multiple values means, so here we can use a struct concept like struct result int A into B, and we can create that result and we can send it. So this one is valid. We will try to learn about this one when we are learning about the structs. The next one is the passing argument by value. So this concept also you need to understand. When we pass arguments to a function in C, they are passed by value. This means that the actual argument in the calling function main remains unaffected by changes made to the formal argument in the called function. So if I will try to show you a simple example for this one so that you people can able to understand it clearly. So when we learning about the pointers, you need to understand here. So here you'll be able to see that we are having a function B. Okay. Here A in main. So here we are having a main function. Okay. Let's try to execute this one. So here we are having a main function into A is equal to 30 and we are having function A. So we are having printf A, we are printing it. So that means here we are having A is value 30. We are passing it to the function and it is receiving as an argument to the B. We are passing it as a B. So now here B is equal to 60. So we are printing F the B value. So now here we are manipulating the B value means changes the value of B locally but doesn't affect A in main. So now here we are passing it to a function means that the A value doesn't change. If I try to show you here the B value inside this one, it is printed as 60 whereas the A value doesn't have been changed. So that means it is passed as a value, not passed as a reference. So that is one thing you need to know. Here A in main remains 30 because only a copy of A is passed to function, not the original A. In summary, what I want to say is functions help in code. So here in summary, I will try to explain you the concepts. So in summary, functions help in code reuse and modular design. They break down complex tasks into smaller manageable pieces. Functions communicate with each other through arguments, input values and return values. Pass by value means changes to function parameters don't affect the actual arguments in the calling function. Return can only send back one value and the return statement can be used multiple times in a function depending on the logic. So this is all about the functions, how the communication happens. Hope you understood about this concept. If you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.